What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. One of the hardest things I've had to admit to myself is all the ways I have seen in myself the things that I judge in others. And maybe just the sensitivity of awareness to judge that specific thing comes from having a bit of it inside me already. But I've also seen myself become the things I judged, ways I never was, but ended up seeing myself reflect. And you would think that if you judge something, you would learn to be aware of all the things in it that teach you how not to be, and that would somehow make it less likely for you to be those things. But life will teach you otherwise. In many ways, you actually invite and attract the things that you judge. So be very careful about what it is that you assign a value to. I don't just mean judge down or look down upon either, although usually judgment does do that. Judgment is not the same as discernment. Judgment is usually a top-down, closed-loop, and bias-heavy activity, versus what leads to discernment, which is curiosity, careful observation, and an intuitive openness instead of conclusiveness. One is a separation activity motivated by fear and threat to safety. The other is designed for growth and adaptability. Usually, judgment is a way of assigning a value to something, and in that same vein, trying to distance yourself from it. But just the mere act of identifying something and assigning it a value now brings you into the fold of its game. Whether you become that thing or not, you play its game. The view you see the world through becomes beholden by the very things that you judge, because they become the filter with which you assess the world. Something is either hotter or colder to that thing that you judge, closer or further away. It becomes the sun around which your entire being orbits. That's why I said be very careful about what you assign value to and what you judge, because maybe you don't want your life to orbit around those things. Maybe they're just passing judgments, you think. Maybe they're not things you've spent a lot of time thinking about. Maybe they're ones you picked up from your environment. Maybe they bring you into a group or out of another. Maybe they're all seemingly casual in nature, like the celebrities you scroll through on your social media and judge the lives of. But deep within each one of those judgments, as casual as they may appear on the surface, underneath it all is a calculator of worth, assigning value to yourself and everything around you according to it, because the axis on which they all rotate and hinge upon are those very judgments. They are the most telling about what game you are playing and what game you are caught up in. And because you are playing that game, you are also caught in those things that you once just externalized. You are also hotter or colder to it. Once you open the door to the courtroom for judgment, everyone is on trial, including yourself. And because you are caught up in this game, life has a funny way of then showing you all the things within you that you thought you could just conveniently distance yourself from. Just the energy spent on identifying something worth judging is a form of manifestation, and life will show you this. You become a magnet for it. You attract more of it in your life. And so you either attract it from the outside by having more people with those things that you judge or those qualities that you judge, or you will create it within yourself to satisfy the judgment dynamic. You will fill the void by becoming it yourself. And maybe that's not all bad. Maybe you becoming the things you judge is the universe's way of humbling you, of allowing a sense of deep empathy within you to be birthed towards those things that you judged. towards the people that you judged. Perhaps by watching yourself become it, you grow to understand and have more respect for how someone could be that way. And because each one of us have our own set of criterias for what we judge, our own set of things that we care for, almost as if they pick us and we don't pick them, in that sense, maybe you are humbled by becoming it so that you see the depths of what it feels like to be the thing that you cared about and want to not be like, from all the positive and negative ends of it. So that as you climb your way out of it and get further away from the thing that you once judged, that you grow within you the capacity to help others as well who are there, who you met there. And now, with your more empathetic, humble leading, you can actually help people instead of standing on a pulpit and judging from a safe distance. Maybe the invitation of what you judge is a form of soul correction. Maybe you judge it because the void already existed. And the whole play of judgment maybe is a journey from trying to fill that void temporarily to then seeing it for what it is, an empty, ever-hungry abyss, and opting out of that game altogether. Judgment is not the same as discernment. You are allowed to be a keen observer of reality and adapt to the conditions of the environment that you experience. But taken past a certain point, your lack of safety shows up as a desperate need for control and becomes more of a fear loop you self-perpetuate until you are so wound up in it that it becomes your identity. One way or another, you become a slave to it. Either you become the thing that you judge, or you spend your whole life trying to avoid the association, desperately distancing, where even when you think you're winning, you lose. I love you, family. Stay true always. I see you on the next show.